Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion based video channel where I talk about the trials and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I try to open our eyes and ears to some of the things that are going on. And this is very troubling that we're having all of this urban gun violence with our teenagers and our youth today, which are not realizing there is a fine pinpoint line between life and death, and the result and the decisions that they're making can be very detrimental in the long run and even lead to life in prison. So this one's straight out of Chicago. I got another one out of Chicago. Chicago is a very close place to my heart, and it's very troubling. It just took place a few days ago. Teen charged in West Chatham shooting that killed 3, including another teen, Chicago police say. Chicago police announced charges last Thursday in connection with a triple homicide in West Chatham last month. CPD Superintendent Larry Snelling and Kim Fox said at a press conference Thursday morning that a 16-year-old boy was charged with first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder as an adult in the incident. 3 people were killed, including a 14-year-old boy, and a 16-year-old was seriously wounded in the shooting inside a home in the West Chatham neighborhood February 25th, Chicago police said. Amiri Deese, 14, was shot in the back inside the house in the 8,000 block of South Vincennes Avenue. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office identified a 20-year-old man who was also killed as Ladeveret Ringgold. A 36-year-old man was killed as well. Chief of Detectives Antoinette City said several others were in the house at the time of the shooting but were not injured. The teen had been welcomed into the home as the acquaintance of a young man who was friends with the family who lived there just after 7:30 p.m., she said. After an altercation, the 16-year-old retrieved a handgun with an extended magazine and demanded a rifle, prosecutors said. Court documents state the suspect's brother grabbed a rifle from behind a TV and the teen opened fire, shooting 4 victims. He left the scene with his brother and the rifle and was caught on video that police recovered, which helped in identifying him. He was arrested on Tuesday in Hazelcrest at a relative's home. Family said the alleged shooter was close to the youngest victim. The teen was identified at the Layton Criminal Courthouse at 26th Street and California Avenue on Thursday as Antonio Velasco, who police said was friends with the victims and best friends with the youngest one. It's very heartbreaking to realize that someone my grandson trusted as a brother decided to do this to him, said Cynthia Jones, Amiri Desi's grandmother. I just don't understand what could have been so much in your heart that you decided you wanted to kill my grandson. This is the same child who shared food with you, shared clothes with you, shared a bed with you, Ms. Jones said. Fox also spoke on Thursday about the incident. A tragedy unfolded among friends within what should have been the safe confines of a home, she said. And Snelling said justice should be served. He has to be accountable, period, he said. The charges bring little closure, though. It won't bring my grandson back, but he won't be able to do this to another family, Jones said. Velasco's private attorney will not comment on the case, and the teen is being held without bond. Police say they are still searching for the second person of interest. And I wanted to do this story because you're seeing this over and over and over again. There's been a heavy trend with this teenage urban violence. Kids are killing kids that look just like them. And these two kids happen to be best friends. They spent the night over at each other's houses. That's why they welcomed him into the home. And this boy was 16 years old and he's committing an adult crime. And we're seeing a heavy preponderance of this throughout many of our major urban cities. And it is nonstop. Uh, these fatherless homes, these predicaments where these kids are very troubled, mental illness is real. We have to figure out what is lacking in our youth today to where they want to be so diabolical to each other. They have lost all hopefulness, helpfulness, and humanity. Now they are charging this kid as an adult. And like I said, this is right out of Chicago, which is one of the two places that I grew up, Chicago and St. Louis. So I have a tendency to do stories about Chicago and St. Louis. And Chicago is inundated with all of these types of crimes. And you're seeing more and more kids, teenagers, that are committing these heinous crimes. And the system is going to start charging these kids as adults, one after another. Instead of these kids preparing to go to high school to learn something for psychological and intellectual development, physical development, to go on to go to trade school, to college, to the military, to do something constructive. The gang violence, the gun violence, the hopelessness is at a premium in today's time. And we need more people, especially people that look like me and you, to do videos and to try to mentor, extend a helping hand to these young folks today. If they do come from fatherless, uncle-less, grandfatherless homes, that they need some mentors. They have such a cavalier attitude towards each other that there is no emotion connected to it at all. And when an average teenager is supposed to be preparing himself for the future, where his life, his or her life is just beginning. The average person lives to 80 years old. Now, this 16-year-old is going to spend the next 60 years, if not the rest of his life, in prison. What kind of future in life is that? This is such a sad commentary, and where we have to figure out, and where does a 16-year-old kid have the audacity to go into his friend's house and then kill 4 people? Why is he walking around with a gun versus a book? And even with the other family, why are they talking about a rifle behind a television? Why is guns, denigrating rap music, overly sexualized rap music? You go to a black inner city school and ask a group of black students in middle school, what do they want to be when they grow up? They all tell you, 90% tell you rappers and basketball players. You go to a suburban, primarily white school, those kids, that percentage goes way down. They talk about being a doctor, being a lawyer, being an engineer, being a teacher. In the inner city urban schools, you will have very few of them that talk about wanting to be an intellectual professional, a lawyer, a doctor. And as a matter of fact, they get pressured and get teased for wanting to do something smart and positive. We've created an entire atmosphere, and the older folks, we have to take responsibility for it. The system, our government has to take responsibility for it, because we have created a vestibule for our urban kids to believe in a fantasy and a utopian existence that does not exist. We are going to lose, and we're building them up for failure. We're going to lose an entire generation with computer information technology that's speeding fast, artificial intelligence. Everything's moving forward, while many of our kids today are going into trepidous, harmful, destructive behavior that's leading to death, destruction, or incarceration. This is a sad commentary. Tell me what you think about this story on this 16-year-old out of Chicago. This is a Trevor Donald Experience.